Hey, how's it going guys? I'm Rius and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing well. For today, I was planning to release a cooking deck showcase, but I made a deck where our old friend Shine. I think he was in the first video of this channel that hits 1k views. If you know the video I meant, thank you for sticking with me all this time. Also, we did get 2 nerfs last 2 weeks. They hit Chocho and Garuda. Chocho's SSR got nerfed, but I don't think that will affect her too much because if she reached level 3 and the opponent is low on health, they are pretty much dead anyway. But for Garuda, however, it's a tough one because now he can only deal 3 damage with the combat card, and that is a massive hit. Maybe people will drop the ratio or just drop it completely. We'll have to see later. Then we have the buffs. Oh man, I did not expect this one. We got buffs for 3 charge Shigami. Finally, Hyoribo got all her forms buffed. The level 1 form now has on activation effect and it draws at the start of your turn and on activation. That's a huge change. Being able to draw at the start of your turn is so much better. Main problem for charge Shigami is running out of hands, so this will definitely help them. The second form got the same buffs, but it now only costs 2 charge instead of 3. And it even gives 2 charge for the lowest charge Shigami. I think this is similar to Enmusubi's second form. It used to be really meh, but with this buff I think we'll be seeing this form a lot more. Now for her level 3 form, however, I think it's a downgrade. Because before you can attack with your Shigami, then at the end phase it will heal them, but now you can't do it anymore. I personally think this one is a nerf. Miketsu got her draw card buff. It also now fetch an amulet with lower level than her. Now I think the amulet search is good, but this means she can't search for the level 3 amulet because it says lower level than her. And you can't use this on level 1 because it will not get you anything. I still don't think this card is worth running. I'm not sure. We'll have to see later when I test some builds. And lastly we have Enenra. Her SSR got buff. It now has on activation effect that says you can pick any of her burst spell from outside the deck and put it on your hand. Yeah, that's a huge buff for Enenra because the main problem for her is running out of hands. So this will definitely help her by a lot. Also, an update for me. I will be very busy with my work for the next month, so I don't think I can keep up with the weekly uploads anymore. I'm really sorry for that, but for now, let's jump into the deck rundown, shall we? This deck is focused on control, so if you're playing with this deck, you will definitely need 15 minutes because the match will take a while to finish. But the good thing about this deck, it is very consistent because it doesn't rely on certain pieces. If I had to say, you only need one of either the shell cards because you can cycle through them with using the burst. The playstyle of this deck is controlling your opponent with Onikiri slashes, then push damage with Bakekujira's shell. Menreiki and Kaoru is our support because you can just put a form on them and they will do their own thing. That way we can focus our orbs on Bakekujira and Onikiri. For Onikiri, the reason I'm bringing 2 Rashomon instead of the other 2 is that nowadays we have a lot of Shigami that uses projectile and evolve. If you can stop it, that will sometimes stop the opponent completely. It's a really great card for today's meta. For Bakekujira, I think this ratio is enough. I prefer bringing the water attack instead of the SSR because sometimes Onikiri slashes doesn't kill the Shigami, so we can use this to snipe the remaining health. And the Shigami that has shells will gain haste, so it's a very efficient card. If you want, you can use the SSR, but I would not recommend it. I think for Menreiki and Kaoru, it's pretty much your standard ratio. Of course, for Kaoru, if you have her SSR, you can bring that too, but the most important card here is her level 2 form because it will help us to push damage and make our Onikiri counter harder. And this is the card priority list. Our high priority is mostly forms, but we mainly want to focus on getting the shells on our starting hand because it will increase our damage early game, which is key to controlling the opponent. The situational choice is our trigger card and 7 faces. I bring one of it because sometimes the opponent will have one of those really thick Shigami, and this is very handy to remove that. As for finisher, we only have one because the main point of this deck is slowly lowering your opponent's health so that when you get to this card, it will be enough to finish them off. And that is all for the deck rundown. This is a very big brain deck. that will need a few tries to get used to, but once you get it, it's really fun and very consistent. Now that's out of the way, let's move on with the replays. Our first battle is up against Field with Hana and Suzume. For our starting hand, we want to get the fast shell card. Either one is fine because you can switch them later. But for this match, we didn't get one, but at least we have watching from afar. When using this deck, it's all about mind games when you want to use Onikiri skills in this match. We would use more friendly slash because the most dangerous thing we have to watch out is their spells rather than their attack. Our first level up will always be Bakekujira because we want to build up his charge as soon as possible. The last level up is always Main Reiki. This time we went with Bakekujira. It's a shame, but we have to waste the trigger early on because I don't want to waste the projectile spell. If they activated that, we have to be careful not to kill their Suzume. This is important because if our Shigemi gets wiped, we have no way to come back from it. On our turn, we level up Onikiri, then just attack with Bakekujira again and pass. I'm fine if he dies now because we don't have any of his shells. On their turn, they will kill our Bakekujira with Suzume and pass. On our turn, we will level up Main Reiki, put the SSR on her, then activate Flickering Shadows. We pick Child of Lion, and this way if they try to attack with Suzume, not only we get to kill her, we also get to deal damage to them. On their turn, they will evolve Suzume, then hunted our Main Reiki. That was certainly out of my expectations, but our two slashes did activate. Their Hana Field getting big, so this time I will pick Friendly Slash to watch out for her spells. We are simply going to attack with Onikiri, destroying the Suzume field so that she doesn't deal AoE and pass. On their turn, as I expected, they evolve Hana. She will take damage, then put Kaguya as a blocker and pass. I think they want to stack a little bit more for her spell. On our turn, we are going to snipe Suzume, then activate Watching from Afar to kill their Kaguya and pass. On their turn, they will evolve Hana again, then attack our summon with Sabi and pass. 21 stacks is huge, but thankfully they still didn't draw the spell. On our turn, we snipe their Hana with Self-Deception, then use Onikiri to kill their Sabi and pass. I should have picked Child of Lion so that he dealt damage, so that's a minor misplay on my part. They will pass because they don't have any revive card. And on our turn, we are finally evolving Onikiri, grabbing the Friendly Slash trigger because Kaguya and Suzume revives on next turn. Then activate Flickering Shadows, picking Child of Lion because we can clear out their combat zone. On their turn, they tried evolving Kaguya. We will counter that with the trigger. Then they will attack with Suzume to damage our Onikiri. We cleared the combat zone, so Child of Lion activates, dealing 8 damage. On our turn, we will evolve Onikiri again, grabbing another Friendly Slash. We can't kill them with Jealous Heart, so we just attack them with Onikiri and pass. On their turn, they try to activate Wonders of Nature. We will counter that, and then they will just throw away the match by killing their own Sabi and pass. On our turn, they will surrender. Next match is up against Fragile Aggro with Garuda and Shin. This should be interesting because if my guess is correct, their build is focused on ending the game before or at the start of level 3. So if they get the first turn, it's going to be pretty tough for us. We get the first turn, thank God, and we also get a shell in hand. So of course our first move will be leveling up Bakekujira, then use him to attack and gain charge. We already have Kaoru leveled up, so he should be safe. On our turn, we level up Onikiri next to prepare their assault next turn. After that, we attach the shell to Onikiri and pass. Our setup should be good enough to counter them next turn. On their turn, they will attack with Kyohime. We activate Kaoru's trigger, but that didn't do anything because Fragile from Kyohime is a debuff, not a physical attack. Then they will activate Chain Combat card, killing our Bakekujira. Oh wow, it's been a while since I saw that combat card. I'm impressed, but with that we confirm they want to end the game really fast. On our turn, we attack their Garuda with main Reiki, then activate Flickering Shadow to switch position with her. This way we can have a full health Onikiri, but the downside is that he doesn't have Kaoru's protection. On their turn, they will put a form on Garuda, then Sharp Blade. We counter that, but the shield and Suzuka's power still overwhelm us. Then they hit us with Kyohime 6 damage and pass. On our turn, we put Mask of Reincarnation on main Reiki, then we have to sacrifice our Kaoru because I do not want to leave my combat zone empty. At the start of the turn, Garuda attaches a feather to Kaoru. Oh, this is going to hurt. They assault with Garuda, removing our Kaoru, then activate Poison Erosion and Fatal Attraction, healing back to full and dealing a huge 10 damage. Sheesh, this is really bad. On our turn, main Reiki switches faction and kills their Suzuka Gozen. First, we have to kill their Jin with this combat card, then activate Watching from Afar to summon a Mothering. It's a shame we have to lose this shell, but we need to recover as much health as we can before Suzuka Gozen revives. And with main Reiki at the combat zone, they will not attack. On their turn, as we predicted, they will not attack and pass. At the start of our turn, main Reiki deals 3 damage to their Garuda. Alright, this is perfect. We will snipe him with water attack, put Dispersing Blade on Onikiri, then attack with main Reiki to recover some health. After that, we activate Flickering Shadows to switch position and pass. If my prediction is right, they will not attack because Suzuka Gozen revives next turn. And I was right. Just a little bit more and we can actually win this. On our turn, we will put Owl Claw on Kaoru, then attach Body Shell to Onikiri. Our main Reiki has haste, so we can kill their Kyohime with self-deception, then assault. With this, we should be in a very safe place. On their turn, they will activate Poison Erosion, then Radius Justice. If we didn't heal the last 2 turns, that would have killed us. And because they failed their killer move, they will surrender. Well, that's all for today's video. I certainly hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, if you want to support my channel, I have Patreon and Ko-Fi links down below. And as usual, if you have any kind of feedback, leave it down in the comments and see you on the next video. Bye.